Back in 1983, the Tipperary town of Ballyporeen was visited by a number of tall, bronzed-looking Americans. Not the usual tourist types, they were Secret Service agents engaged in a reconnaissance mission. More specifically, they were acting as guards to 25-year-old Ron Reagan, son of Ronald Reagan, then President of the United States. During their stay, they made some tape recordings of local people, a few of whom sang songs from the area. Ballyporeen, June 1984. TV crews from all over the world gather in the town in preparation for the visit of the U.S. Commander-in-Chief. A helicopter lands near the town on the 3rd of June, and at exactly 2:45 p.m., President Reagan addressed the excited, cheering crowd.
Thank you very much. Last year, a member of my staff came through town and recorded some messages from you. It was quite a tape, and I was moved deeply by the sentiments that you expressed. One of your townsmen sang me a bit of a tune about Sean Treacy, and a few lines stuck in my mind. They went like this, not that I'll sing. And I'll never more roam from my own native home in Tipperary so far away.
This memorable line quoted by President Reagan came from an old ballad, sometimes called the Ballad of Sean Treacy, other times Tipperary So Far Away. The ballad was written by Padraig Breathnach, or Paddy Walsh, in commemoration of Sean Treacy, a member of the 3rd Tipperary Brigade of the Irish Volunteers, later the Irish Republican Army, who died in a shootout in 1920. Born on the 14th of February 1895 in Sullohead, Tipperary, Sean Treacy left school at the age of 14 and became involved with the Gaelic League and the Irish Republican Brotherhood. Incarcerated for 2 years after the Easter Rising of 1916, he was released from Mountjoy Jail in the summer of 1918. In January 1919, he was one of 4 volunteers who took part in the ambush of 2 policemen at Sullohead Beg, the incident lighting the touch paper to what became known as the Irish War of Independence. Following a series of daring attacks on police barracks in Munster and on high-ranking members of the British military establishment in Leinster, Treacy became one of Ireland's most wanted men. When the net finally closed in, he was shot dead by Crown forces on the 14th of October 1920 in Talbot Street, Dublin. He was a modest, gentle soul, said Padraig Breathnach, who recalled meeting Treacy for the first time in January 1919 after, he said, the Sullohead Beg business. Born Patrick Walsh on the 5th of March 1890 in Camas, near Cashel, Tipperary, Breathnach composed Tipperary So Far Away shortly after Treacy's death. A fluent Irish speaker, Breathnach joined the British Army in 1916, but decided to desert when he recovered from a bout of malaria, and between 1919 and 1920, Breathnach, then known as Paddy Dwyer, saw active service with D Company, 6th Battalion, 1st Tipperary Brigade. A staunch Republican who rejected the Anglo-Irish Treaty, following the Civil War, Breathnach applied to join the Irish Civil Service, only to discover that his application was declined because he had refused to sign the Pledge of Allegiance to the Irish Free State. Breathnach subsequently became a teacher, imbuing his pupils with a love of their native tongue. Apart from writing songs and poetry, he used the pseudonym Fanige Éireach, or Stay Happy, when contributing articles to the Nina Guardian. Finally accepted into the civil service in the early 1930s, Breathnach worked for the Department of Defence, a position he maintained right up to his death on the 26th of June 1939 in Bray, County Wicklow. Just 2 years before Breathnach died, the Decca label in New York released Tipperary So Far Away on a 78 RPM disc, the ballad sung by Irish-American singer Jim Dwyer. Released in Ireland in 1938, it was somewhat of a slow burner. That is until it was rearranged for piano and vocal by Joseph Mary Crofts, brother of the famous Dublin tenor Gerard Crofts. In August 1945, the Kerryman in Tralee published Sean Treacy and the 3rd Tipperary Brigade, an informative little book written by historian and author Desmond Ryan. Apart from exploring the life and times of the now famous freedom fighter, Ryan included a number of ballads, most notably Tipperary So Far Away. When the ballad is sung today, it often includes just 3 verses. But in 1960, Jim Ryan, an IRA veteran from O'Connell Terrace in Clonmel, submitted all 6 verses of the ballad to the Munster Tribune. Published on the 12th of February of that year, the accompanying note informed readers that Ryan had learned it from none other than Padraig Breathnach. And so ends the story of Tipperary So Far Away. The sun it had set with its golden rays, and the deadly fight was o'er. Our brave men lay beneath the clay, their lives to gain no more. The moon shone down in Talbot Street, where a dying rebel lay. His limbs they were crossed, and his body stretched, and his life blood flowed away. A passing comrade heard his moans, and the sufferer soon was found. Gently they lifted his aching head up from the cold, cold ground. Softly, gently, comrades, he cried, in life I can no longer stay, and I'll never roam to my own native home in Tipperary so far away. A lock of my hair I pray you bear to my mother so old and grey. She will press it to her loving breast and fondly think of me, and tell her here by the Liffey's side my mouldering bones I lay. I'll never more roam to my own native home in Tipperary so far away. And tell my comrades we fought and fell as our fathers did before, with bayonets flashing by our side and the green flag waving o'er. It grieves my heart from you to part, in life I can no longer stay, but a vision of light comes before me tonight in Tipperary so far away. His comrades they gathered around him to bid him his last farewell. He was a brave young Irishman, as ever in battle fell. In silence we laid him in his grave, Sean Treacy, so young and so gay, who'll never more roam to his own native home in Tipperary so far away. Tipperary so far